Hello. I'm back
Hello.
from the void. Is my mic working?
I can hear you. You're a little faint.
Oh, here, how about this? So I had a draft message 3 or 4 weeks ago that said, I'm in the middle of a household move over Thanksgiving, and my mom had a medical emergency in upstate New York, and I have to go to New York. Um,
Ah, okay.
yeah, she had a stroke earlier in the year,
Oh
and she
no.
had some complications from that, and it was all scary. And I had this
Yeah.
thing sitting in Slack, like a draft message. And when I hooked up everything in my new locale, there it was unsent. So I feel like I need to fall on a sword somehow. And I'm
I
very
think you
sorry
already have.
for just going dark. I had it was a kind of very stressful time, and
Yeah.
I forgot
Yeah.
to hit
No,
enter. I had too
understandable.
many threads, but I'm
And
back,
now we
and
know
and
what happened.
yeah, yeah, I'm back, and I'm looking forward to re-engaging with this. I've done some thinking and work while I was out, and so shortly I will have some numbers and stats. I thought I would go from KubeCon to KubeCon, so that if Tag Security is going to do a post KubeCon blog, or if there's some vehicle that we could attach a blurb about this initiative, we'll have some stats and data, on some of the things I've been measuring, that go from the time from last year's KubeCon to this year's KubeCon as like a time box, right? To say the state of the ecosystem as we
Mhm.
start this process. Um, on the technical front, and I won't saturate you, but I will give you a high level. I've been playing around more with Ryu Graph, which is a fork of KuzuDB. So it's
Okay.
a cipher-based database, but it's structured like DuckDB and works
Okay.
with DuckDB with in-memory stuff. So you can slurp up files that come from GraphQL or from wherever
Uh-huh.
into DuckDB, and then you could be like, here's all the nodes and edges, and then it's all just in memory using Apache Arrow underneath. So it's like rocket fast. It's right for the data set size we have, and we can rapidly build graphs,
Hmm.
um, and then ask those more interesting questions. The alternative would be something like Neo4j, but that is a transaction-based, row-oriented cipher
And it's
database, and this
big.
is and it's big and heavy, and the licensing is
Yeah.
bad. And this is MIT, and it is columnar under the covers. So you basically, just like in a
Yeah.
SQL database like DuckDB, you say, here's the columns. You make a
Yep.
node table and an edge table, and then it can do the rapid DuckDB um,
Hmm.
to the graph, all in Python Jupyter Notebook or just in a Python script. Because the Python client has all these Apache Arrow optimizations. So that's the approach I'm taking on the technical front, but not before reporting on what we already have in the relational format
Hmm.
about, you know, what artifacts are being generated, and what do we know, what do we don't know,
Yeah.
and what do we know that we
Do you
don't
have
know, et cetera.
do you have updated numbers on the S bombs that we're detecting? Like what fraction on what
That
data
I don't
set?
have updated numbers, but I should
Okay.
by end of week, or
Okay.
even in the next day or so. I just kind of
Um,
plugged everything back in, and I'm reacquainting
someone,
myself with 90% done work, right? That I
yeah.
can put a bow on. I was going to rerun
Um,
things from KubeCon to KubeCon instead of just the smaller data set sizes I've been messing around with. But from my back of the napkin, the existing stuff I've already got is just fine.
uh, 3 weeks ago or so, Carol had volunteered to try to use cosine to get S bombs from projects, but I haven't heard about success on that or not. So,
So not about the cosine project itself, which is one of the three that I started with, but using cosine to go find S bombs.
so cosine has a mechanism for storing S bombs alongside container images
Right.
in the OCI repo.
If if you know where to go find them and things,
What
right?
do you mean
Because
if you know where to go find them?
do you mean it can go discover S bombs it doesn't know about, or it can go make OCI artifacts with S bombs and such,
It
if
can
you already know
find
where they are?
OCI artifacts associated with a container image in
Yes.
one of two mechanisms. It can use the OCI 11 ref feature
Hmm.
to find artifacts that refer to another artifact. or it can do a terrible thing with tag names.
Can do
Um,
what?
a
Sorry, not
terrible
to.
thing with tag names,
Okay.
where it looks for a tag that looks like um, SHA-256 hash dash S bomb is the name of the tag, I believe.
I see. So it could go crawl OCI repos and look for things.
Well, it looks for the tag, or it looks for um let me see
If I
if I
looked for
can
the
find it.
tag, so like
So
it
the
looks for.
tag looks like SHA-256 dash and then
Stuff.
that
Yeah.
and then that
Okay.
whole SHA checksum. So you say, oh hey, I looked up this tag. It's SHA-256 is blah. Now let me do this text transform and look up a new tag and see if it exists there. And if
Mm,
so, maybe that contains an S bomb.
it's better than nothing, but yeah.
This was built before the refers feature,
Okay. Okay. So that's
um,
why. So it's not
before the
the
OCI 1.1 spec. And one
right.
of the motivations was that people were doing this terrible hack, and maybe we should have a nice supported way of doing it.
Okay. Well, that's good because that's sort of it sounds like we found some a tribal morsel that can augment our
I
stuff.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, and the Knative SBOM documentation describes how to use cosine to fetch these down.
Okay, cool. Well, so
So we
what we
had at
already
least
have,
one project
yeah.
in our initial list of things publishing
Yeah.
that described how to do this.
And we can already issue a query against the data set we already have. Now, I'm going to regenerate it because when I ran it before, I just said, get the last three releases from
Yeah.
today of all the things. But I'm going to rerun it to say, get all the releases for the last year. But in the data that comes back from that, we have all of the files that are the GitHub workflows. So assuming that the automation that would call cosine is actually in the form of a GitHub action and not in the
Which it's
form.
not for Knative.
Right, but I mean, we can also look at other things too. We can look for
Mm-hmm.
so we can like winnow down what's actually calling cosine or what appears to be
I'm
calling
not sure that
cosine.
you have a good way of reading that because it's prow and container images and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. Right
But
before
you
I
can
left,
just use cosine and the
yeah.
OCI registry to find those
Hmm. Okay. Good
without
to know.
knowing anything about how they were done.
Yep.
Um,
I also talked with, oh God, I have been away for too long. I don't have my Rolodex and my fast look aside cache. The advisor for both tag operational resilience and security. He works at Microsoft. His name was
Jeremy?
Jeremy. I talked to Jeremy right before
Yeah.
I went dark, and he pointed me at um, a Google Drive or no, I'm sorry, it's an HTTP server of all of the SBOMs for all of Kubernetes. And it turns out there's
Yes.
one monster SBOM for all of Kubernetes. It's not as I suspected, either service by service or binary by binary. It's just a big mega SBOM. But I remember when we last spoke, one of the to-dos was find what Kubernetes has, and apparently it's one mega SBOM.
Yes.
And he showed me where that is. We did not get into how it's generated because right now I don't care. Um, but for the Kubernetes prow stuff, we at least have coverage there because it seems like any kind of
Well,
report out that didn't include that might be hard, but
but
it's
to
just
be
so big.
clear, um, you have gone and asked through 4 layers of like specific folks who know where the bodies are buried,
Mhm.
and you have found this bucket.
Yeah.
But without having someone else repeat that process, is there a way that people can find these?
So I asked that very question, and the answer
Yes.
that I got was no.
I also knew the answer to the question.
Yeah, the answer was no. But again, when I think about the projects in the CNCF, it's kind of like there's everything and then there's Kubernetes, just in terms of scope,
Well,
size.
yes, that is
You know.
true.
So
And
I don't
hopefully
love the
no one
answer,
else
but
is
at
doing
least
this same thing that Kubernetes has had to do.
mhm.
But have you found out why the answer is no?
Yes, because it is this isn't a direct quote, but it's pretty close. There is a gaggle of scripts that call and do prow things that is opaque and behind the Kubernetes release process. And my understanding was it would take more time and energy than he had going into the holiday to kind of cover it. And the most important thing for me was at least to minimally get where's the
Sorry.
SPDX?
If
Yeah.
someone were to put up a web page that said looking for Kubernetes SBOMs question mark, do these steps
There
as a
are
blog post or something like that, would people be deeply upset, moderately happy, concerned about infrastructure and costs, some other thing?
so
Like, I don't care how it's built. I don't want to know how it's built.
yeah, exactly. I would be a little concerned and but I'm not that's not my mission.
But
But what I got back was here's an HTTP server that has the version
yeah,
of Kubernetes that corresponds to that particular SPDX
yeah,
embedded in it. The HTTP server does not have browse or list capability, rather, so you kind of have to know what you're
fine.
looking for. And if you go to this magic link that does correspond with a version number, you get one big monster
My
SPDX.
question is someone willing to commit to this being a stable interface?
As I understand it, this is the only interface that's publicly accessible today. All the bits,
That's a
which
completely
is it,
different answer.
right? Well, I was getting to your actual question. Um, uh, I I think that from his tone and from what I know from talking to you about the Kubernetes release process, I suspect that there is a committee or a group of very well-intentioned, motivated people who have done the best they can, but there's no like throat to choke, there's no process to point at, and there's no hard commitment that it will always be here. At least
Well,
as far as
okay.
I've ascertained.
I
And that may not be
I
true,
mean
but
hard
until somebody
commitments are
tells me
hard.
that, it's false, if that makes sense. Right?
I guess I'm asking more about intention than hard commitments. Like,
I think intention is that there's something that is automated that works, and this is where it lands, and here's the link, and that the Kubernetes release team maintains that. But again, I didn't get like it will always be here. This is a hardened interface. Here's how the sausage
mhm.
is made. It's just like here
Do
you
you
can get
want
your
me
big
to
sausage.
chase down those answers?
What's that?
Do you want me to chase down those answers?
Uh, if you have time, will, and
I don't
capacity,
really have
sure.
time, but I would like to see this like put to bed. So I will
I
make
think it
time for
would
you.
be, I think you would be effective at asking the right questions because you have
Can you send me
existing.
the details you already have?
Yes, it's just some stuff in Slack from
I
him.
don't have the stuff in Slack, but if you
Yep, I'll
can
send it.
send them to me, I will
Hmm.
go ask pointed questions and I will either come back with, yeah, we can't tell anyone about that. Sorry. Or, hey, we're going to do a blog post about this or
Right.
something
I did
equivalent.
not gather that the latter was on the menu. I tried to get a
I,
message, a meeting with him
I'm
for
I'm
a few
willing
weeks.
to push to
Yeah.
resolve this one way or the other. And the answer may be, yeah, we can't tell anyone about it because X, Y, and Z.
Right. I got the feeling that I don't know him well enough or some of the people that he works with well enough to be automatically getting a succinct answer on a cold call.
That's fine.
So it would help me immensely if you did that because I
If you
feel
can
like,
send me the details, I will
I
follow
will.
up.
Yeah, it's not a
I
lot
have
of
several
details.
different contacts on the Kubernetes release team.
Okay.
So
So what basically happened was his kid was doing band stuff and we had like two or three different meetings that didn't work out.
yeah,
Mostly because he had to cancel them last minute.
yeah,
And right before the holidays, I was like, can you at least point me to something?
yeah,
I'm happy to go
yeah.
sleuthing, but
That's
I have
fine.
nowhere to start.
It's
And then
fine.
he sent me what I'm about to send you. What I
Yep.
was going to say is in my brain, this initiative and looking at the ecosystem,
Hmm.
there's Kubernetes and then other things that have done what Kubernetes has done, such as I understand it, um, um, oh my goodness. You can tell I just plugged
Like
in
maybe Istio, but
Istio, thank you. That's what I was
yeah,
tickling my brain about. And we have somebody from Istio that wants to work with us as well, but they used those same tools, the
yeah.
SBOM generation. But then there's like the other 231 projects that I very
Well,
much want
there's
to
at least
focus
three or
on.
four
So
different buckets of them, but yes.
exactly, but yes, so that would be immensely useful if you could knock on some doors and shake out.
Well, but the thing is, my results are only going to apply for Kubernetes.
That's fine. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
I'm
your
more
instincts
interested
are
in all the
correct.
rest. And so I'd like you to focus on all the rest. And so if I can take the knock on Kubernetes doors off of your plate,
Please do. That would
we
be
can
wonderful.
focus on the all the rest part, which is going to be
Yes,
different than
it's one less
Kubernetes.
plate to juggle, and it's
And
not
it's
like all of the rest. And
yes.
so that would be wildly helpful. I
Okay.
suspect your intuition here is correct. I suspect there may be reasons why
It's
it's
fine.
not. I don't know. So, you know,
Take it out of your brain. Send me the details and then
I
take it
will.
out of your brain and say, this is all Evan's fault from here on out. I don't
I
have to worry about it.
don't usually like to use the faulty language, if you will. Ha, punny. But yes, I will do that. I will
Well,
make a note.
but I guess my point is, um, I have found it very helpful when I delegate things to be able to say, so and so has it, and I don't have to worry about it.
That would be very helpful.
And
I
so that's
felt
what I'm trying to say.
a little sheepish about asking you for anything since
No,
again,
that's
like
fine.
I'm horrified that I just no showed. That's not my style.
It's fine.
Um, but
It
yeah, so
happens.
thank you for that. Um, I don't
Um,
have a whole lot other to talk about. I wasn't sure if anyone was going to show up, and I know I don't want to do like a walkthrough of code or
I
anything
think
like
we're
that.
probably going to cancel next week's meeting.
I saw that. Well, I saw some cancellations, maybe not that
Well,
many.
no,
Yeah.
we were talking about switching to an every other week schedule because we hadn't
For
had a lot
this
of
initiative,
content.
yeah. Okay.
Um, but I think we may cancel next week's meeting and the week after
Yeah, it's Christmas time and all of that. I'll be on
because
Slack and I'll
we're
post
getting
results
close
in
to the
Slack.
holidays. And rather than asking someone to show up on the 22nd,
Yeah.
we might just ahead of time tell people no.
Yeah.
And
Anyone.
then
Yeah.
meet back starting on the 6th and every other week schedule through
I think that makes sense.
at least the end of January. In February, we'll have reached about 6 months for this initiative, and I'd like us to, given it's supposed to be time boxed,
Yep.
produce
And we
some
said 6 to 9
results,
months. So I'd like to have something to show that we can publicize.
which may be a guess what? There's no good way to get S bombs for projects right now. Folks should start doing X or Y, depending on what situation they're in.
Yeah. Shooting from the hip, I think that the best thing that exists today that doesn't have to be invented, that people could do, and some
Mm-hmm.
people are doing, would be the V2 format for security insights. Because that provides a mechanism where people can self-report, it scales well, it's self-serve, and it's discoverable and findable, even if it's a little bit wonky about how it works. There's just like a tiny Go file that
Possibly.
defines the structure. But
Yeah.
but that until I find something else, I think that is actionable, pragmatic, and would not be.
I mean, I think another option um, would be either using the cosine
Mhm.
OCI storage mechanism or putting them in GitHub release artifacts.
Yes. I have found a few projects like Jaeger who do just that. Um,
Um, get putting them in GitHub release artifacts is more useful if you release something like a command line tool.
mhm.
Um, or if you produce SBOMs of the YAML that happens to also contain all your container image SBOMs that are referenced
Mhm.
in that YAML,
Right.
which
If it's
the tooling
canonical.
for that is a little bit harder. So,
Yeah, I think from we have two big goals for this initiative, right? One is
mhm,
when a new CV and the one around like a new CVE came out. If you take the Jaeger example, Jaeger is
mhm,
actually a whole bunch of different binaries and components. Not a whole
mhm.
bunch, but
Yeah,
just the binary level is a handful, and then under that you've got all kinds of Go and other language libraries. And so if your task is to go, where's the CVE and does it impact me? For projects like Kubernetes or Jaeger that
mhm,
make one monster SPDX, which may or may not refer to ancillary things, they may or may
yeah,
not be contained. Um, it's useful, but like if you're a practitioner working somewhere and this thing came out and your boss wants to know, do I care about this? Do I need to redirect my security team today
yeah,
or next week? Like you now have a project to go figure it out and like to
yeah.
deconstruct this 4 MB JSON file, right?
Well,
And
but I
then
don't think we
so
have enough examples to be able to say how common the different things are.
right, but I just mean like that class of a project that has tons of moving parts, client pieces, server
Yeah.
pieces, other components. maybe mobile pieces. To just have like one big SBOM for the project is better than not having it. But
Well,
I think
yeah.
there's an opportunity there. But again, we don't know the breadth
As
or
I said, I don't think we have enough examples to be able to go in and say, oh, hey, 90% of projects produce 1 mega SBOM, or like 10% of projects produce 1 mega SBOM. They're the weird
yeah,
ones. Everyone else
but
produces a bunch of little tiny SBOMs, and you have
exactly
to collect like 8 of them to have the full
right.
story.
Exactly. And
Like,
so and
there's
those are
no
both
good
different.
choice here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we should be able to report quantitatively on the ecosystem on those kinds of things by January. Is there a vehicle that Tag Security is planning? Like, do you do like a yearly blog or like, so it's
I think that
2026? Like,
when the initiative completes, we could do a blog post or other content. We don't have an existing vehicle.
okay, so there's no like, we're talking about all of our initiatives and we need four
And we
bullet
talk
points for
about
this
all our
initiative.
initiatives every couple of weeks at the tag security meeting to see if they're in progress. But an initiative finishing up is, or reaching a milestone is sufficiently rare that it's its own thing.
Okay, yeah, I was more just wanting to plan and be prepared for if there is a cadence communication of some kind that would have like a small call out for anything that's active.
Every
Like,
week or two at the tag
yeah.
security meeting.
Okay, cool. That's great. But
So
there's no like thing in writing I need to have a draft for in time for
there's no
review.
deadline.
Okay, cool. Um, Other than that, I'm interviewing
Okay.
actively. I've got one at Clavio on Wednesday for a
Okay.
director of engineering operations and strategy, and I'm finding my pace there. So I hope to be employed by a CNCF member shortly, um, um, one way or another.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. Uh, and man, I'll just say this isn't technical, but whenever you move and you look at all your stuff and go, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I haven't even touched that in 2 years. Like every weekend and every spare chance I get
Mhm.
for the last week and for the next month, I'm going to be just like divesting. And it's dopamine. Like it's great because I have too much junk,
I
and so it's nice
understand
to,
what you mean.
it's like I moved into a place and I intentionally didn't move all my stuff to this place. All of that stuff is in a storage unit 2 miles away where I can go
Mhm.
to when I have mental space for it and be like, okay, what things go to the dump? What things go for sale? What things can I give away? And
Yep.
so um, I'm looking forward to the new year and a less cluttered life, which means a less cluttered brain. Uh, but anyway, that's just on a personal note. Do
Yeah.
you have holiday plans? Are you going
We
on a trip?
are dog sitting for a friend, so the kids are
Oh,
excited about that.
nice. What kind of dog?
Small one,
Okay, cool.
like 6 months old and 7 pounds. So
Oh, wow. That is small. Okay,
yeah,
cool. Yeah,
never
kids
going to
are
be a big dog. Very much not a big dog now.
great. I don't have anything else specific, and I know
That's
your
fun.
time is valuable. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about today?
Nope. I dropped a link in the meeting notes for how to use cosign to get the attestations off of a container image.
Okay.
So you may find those handy. I picked the chain guard ones because they paid somebody to write them.
Yeah, I know some of the chain guard guys actually. They came from VMware from same circles.
I know a bunch of the chain guard folks as well, but Sigstore also has some stuff, but I think the chain guard stuff was probably better written because they paid somebody to do it, as I said.
Yeah, I like this approach too because you can pull all the images to a local repo and then just do local compute. Like it doesn't
Well,
require a million network calls and all of that.
uh, to Brant's use case as well, he can collect them
Yeah.
all and store them in a bundle that he can carry across an air gap.
Yep. Yeah, with the along with it'll be balled up by Zarf. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Great.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I haven't reached out to Brant yet. I literally just kind of got
That's
networking
fine.
and PC set up yesterday. So um I'm going to be reaching out and spidering out and reconnecting. But when there's something to look at or something that you can run locally that's like, ooh, wow, I'll post it in the Slack group between now and January. But uh, I'm licensing it all. It was MIT. I'm torn between MIT and Apache, but I'll probably just do Apache because it'll mesh well with everything else. But
I mean, MIT and Apache will mesh just fine as well. The big difference is the patent clause.
hmm Yeah. And then I've been using Community Commons
Yep. Well, I
repository
mean,
for the docs and for
all of
the
that stuff is approved and supported by CNCF. So yeah, those are all
cool.
fine.
Yeah, most of the tools I'm using are all MIT, so that's why I was thinking MIT, but Apache can use MIT stuff and it's all compatible. So,
Yep. Either way,
all right,
I think
cool.
MIT and Apache are the two CNCF TOC blessed licenses. So if you want to license as MIT, that's fine too.
Yep, cool. I think incidentally, by the way, this Ryu graph stuff, having an MIT cipher columnar backed high performance in memory, blah blah blah. I think that's a nice fit for the landscape graph too, which has just been sitting there aging because it's based on Neo4j and it will go nowhere ever in the CNCF. So
Yeah.
over Christmas time, I plan to kind of rewrite the README for that, and the same prototype that I'm using for all this SBOM stuff
If
is
you
directly
get
applicable to that. So
if you get a chance in the next week or so to dump a summary of how you're doing in terms of finding S bombs to the channel,
Mhm. Okay.
like
Yep.
I have looked at X projects described by definition and have found, you know, Y S bombs or something like that using technique Z.
Z.
That would be, helpful to sort of checkpoint things for other people. I've
Yes.
attempted to represent information that you have presented in previous meetings to other people, but it would be
Yeah.
much more helpful to have it written
Yep.
in a way where everyone can point to it and be on the same page.
That's my intention, and I'll commit to doing that this month.
Yep.
So
I
before
mean, it's
before going
okay
to
if the
Christmas time.
number isn't good,
No, no, we just need a status update about what is. So
but to have a common understanding of facts on the ground would be helpful.
yes, it'll also grease the skids for next month. So
Yeah.
um, cool. Okay. Well, I think we might finish in record time this time, 27 minutes.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, have a great day if there's
You
nothing
too.
else. Okay.
But
Bye. Thank you for everything.
you might want to just amend. This was sitting in a pending message for the last 3 weeks. Sorry, and
I
just send
have
it.
that partially drafted right
I
now.
was going to say, don't put too much effort in. Everyone's human. It's fine. Um, but
Yeah,
if you don't do it in the next day or so,
it'll be
I will
Monday.
send something, and
No,
you
I'll do
won't
it
get to
today.
pick any of the messaging. So,
I'll do it tonight.
okay.
All right.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.